Chase Liaki with the Blue Futon. Out of the digital world, we have another Indian movie called Jana Gana Mana. Am I saying that completely wrong? I don't know, but let's find out what this political slash lawyer drama is about. Jana Gana Mana, what's about? It's a very simple premise, actually. A brutal killing happens to one of these teachers in the university, and this causes a huge riot with students versus police. And then we have a lawyer involved when it comes to the court cases, and a lot of twists and turns at the end of the movie that totally makes up for the first half of the movie. So, with that, I do have some huge negatives of the movie, but it is very weird because it's almost in two parts where the first hour I was like, I am not into this movie. But like the last hour and 20 minutes, it sucked me in. So with that, I'll give you the negatives of the movie as a whole. Yes, it's long again. Some of the stuff doesn't need to be cut out in the very beginning about these students, because the students to me was the hugest flaw in this story. But like it says, when it comes to the court scene, I was tripping of like, give me more of that. But like I said, I'm going to the negatives first. And the negatives are the students in the first hour. Okay, you understand from the beginning, there's a teacher that was burnt and raped. That's the information we are given by the media and by the police. Then the students call for a revolution because of this. To me, that makes zero sense, because even the court cases, they're like, rapes happen every 15 minutes. This happens every 15 minutes. Why all of a sudden is everyone just going crazy over this one teacher? It doesn't make sense for why these students are calling for a revolution. To me, it still doesn't, because a lot of shit happens. Why didn't you call for revolution when there's those amount of suicides on the campus? No, but you call for revolution because of a teacher that is basically just a nice teacher. If you want to put it that way, that teacher was basically doing nice things for students. She was never really calling for like an upheaval of the system or something like that. So having these students call for a revolution because this teacher died makes no sense. Some people might say because it was another teacher's speech during the condolences part of the movie, but to me that still doesn't make sense. You don't cause a riot because of this. And what revolution are you looking for? Yeah, there are some political aspects of the movie, but for me, the whole riot issue of just this teacher dying and because of the media outrage doesn't make zero sense for what the revolution. That's the thing. I don't know what revolution you're asking for. What hardship were these students actually in to cause this revolution? To me, that was such a shitty storyline to go off of, and I believe these students never learn their lesson. Why do I say that? I say that because in the very beginning, they're like, revolution, revolution. Still don't know why the revolutionizing for of a teacher's death. What's their goal? Usually when you do a revolution, what is your goal? What are you trying to change? And that's the thing. The students never said anything what they want to change. Yeah, they were talking about some stuff like in the balcony part of like, how much are you going to be on the balcony and just look down rather than be in the shit, if you want to put it that way. But still, the students never gave a reason of what and why they are doing it. And at the very end, when the conclusion happens after the court case, and what this lawyer is saying is like, all of you are technically at fault for starting a random revolution where you are falling on fake news, fake information, and emotions. All you guys are doing are emotions. And at the very end, the students are bashing cop car windows when it's technically the students' fault for doing this shit. It's not their fault that the whole ploy of the political landscape, but the students need to step back and be like, what is the truth? Covington kids, the shit that happened probably in India, this story, it's like based on a true event. We don't get facts anymore. And these students didn't learn their lesson of not getting facts, so they're just going to still riot and cause for a revolution. So to me, that storyline was horrible, did not need to be in this movie. What they should have done, the revolution, if they want to do it, is for the school, the universities, and with the suicides. That was such a backstory issue that it should have been the forefront. Yes, this teacher dying, yes, it's horrible. But when you have 50-something students dying because the suicides are like 40-something because of the university, that's the revolution piece they need to focus on, and they never did. It was more of a backstory for this teacher trying to figure out why these students are committing suicide and who are these negative teachers in this university. That was such a more potent, stronger sediment to start this revolution if they really want to do it with these students, but they focused on the wrong thing, in my opinion. And that might have been the reason why they're focused on the wrong thing for the story. However, at the very end, it didn't feel like it. At the very end, they still focused on these students, going for political office, which I still don't know what they're running on. And that's the thing, is I don't know what they're trying to change in this world. They never really explained it. However, those are the huge faults I have with the movie. But there's also huge pauses with this movie. And that courtroom scene, that whole hour and 20-minute was marvelous, perfect, perfection filmmaking, in my opinion, when I focus on that. The lawyer brought up some fantastic points of no shit. I've already talked about it in the negative of selective outrage, fake news media. The media tells people what they should be emotional about, and that happens in America all the time. So when I see that part, I resonate with that, because a lot of people, I look at news, yes, but I look at vast spectrum of the news of like, okay, that might seem real, that might seem real, and that might seem real. So what are the connecting factors? Here, we are all about selective headline outrage, and this movie puts that to a fucking T when it comes to the courtroom case. The lawyer was so good with talking about hashtag shocked. Why are you only shocked this 15 minutes? How do you know the person was raped when the post-mortem shit didn't happen? So there's so much information where you're like, yes, 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 common sense is coming through, and you're just like, thank you for this. But like I said, overall, I'm focusing on this. I think it's a good movie. It's not a great movie. If they focused on the suicide part to be the main background of why this revolution is happening, I could give this movie flying colors. But it didn't. It focused on these students, and I just didn't have an emotional impact with these students, because to me, these students were just selective outrage, the Antifa of America, where they're just mad and they don't have a message. They don't have a solid unifying opinion, because it's just like, what are you doing? You're rioting for fascism? Do you know what the definition of fascism is? And that's the thing, is even the fascism thing in this movie, anti-fascist is like, oh, we're fighting for fascism, and then the students are like, fuck fascism in this movie. Do you really know what fascism is? Like, look in history. What this thing happened of a teacher dying isn't fascism at all, because you are on physical emotions at that time of someone being quote-unquote raped and burnt. That's not fascism. And this movie doesn't show that part, because these students don't know. And that's the same thing with here, with these people in the streets, like saying burn it all down, no more, abolish prisons, abolish this, abolish prisons. So you want serial killers. So you want the people, okay, let's put it that way. You want people that shot up in Buffalo, shot up at the Tennessee church. You want them to just run free, abolish prisons? Like, there's no unifying message, and that's what I think this movie tried to do. But I really wish they focus on the suicide aspect and why that started the revolution. But overall, Jana Gana, I'm probably saying that completely wrong, but I think it's a great courtroom drama movie. If they, like I said, I really love that part of the movie. That movie sucked me in. It was like, oh, give me more. But that first hour was like, I don't know what we're trying to prove here. And that first hour truly took me out of the movie. So, overall, it is a watch. But for me, it's a very mixed message movie. So, Jana Gana will receive a 3.5 out of 5 with Futon, because that's 70%. I'm sorry, I could go with the 60 or 70 with this. I think the 60, if the courtroom scenes weren't that great, it would be a 60 for me. I could put this in a 65, but I don't do the decibels of 5 in that region. But if they focus on that suicide more in the beginning, and they focus on the suicide / courtroom, and then still the whole media outrage and the political landscape thing of the university, even they should have taken the politics out of it, of the whole main guy trying to keep political power. They focus on the university as well as the university and courtroom, I could see this being a 90 to 100% movie, but they didn't do that. They focused on that part. But anyway, let's see what the critics' news scores gave this one. So we have 4 critics, and we have 3 positive and 1 negative. A 7 out of 10, a 2 out of 5, a 3.5 out of 5. So we're about the same thing with me about being that good 70. The negative was basically like, is it not worth saying it's great throwaway lines and moments? I wouldn't say it's throwaway lines at all because there are facts of the whole rape every 15 minutes and why are we selective outrage. And then it says that made my liberal heart sit up and take notice. Anyway, but no audience score, so technically we have a 75 and my 70. Chase out with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think is Bluetonian. You Bluetonians. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. And I've never seen a movie that does that to me, where it's literally a 50-50 of like, holy shit, that's good. But anyway, did you watch it? It's on Netflix. Thank you for everything you're doing. Love you all.